My name is Kwame Raoul. I've been a practicing attorney for going on 25 years. I've been in the Illinois State Senate for 13 years, having chaired the Senate Judiciary Committee for the last 9 years, and also chaired the Senate Pensions and Investment Committee and Redistricting Committee prior to that. I've sponsored a broad range of legislation, including criminal justice reform, with the highlight being the abolition of the death penalty. I've served on the Criminal Justice Reform Commission, the Sentencing Policy Advisory Commission. I chaired a conference committee on pension reform. I've worked on workers' compensation reform. I've worked on a broad range of issues. I expanded Medicaid so we could fully take advantage of the Affordable Care Act. I worked on a comprehensive law enforcement reform bill, and I look forward to taking that experience to the Attorney General's office. So my priorities will be multifaceted. First off, I think one of the ignored functions of the Attorney General's office is to direct victims' resources. One of my priorities will be to make sure the most victimized communities are recipients of those resources. I actually sponsored legislation to pilot trauma recovery centers because I realize that we have neighborhoods where violence has been normalized, and for kids and other residents of those neighborhoods, they've suffered a trauma that has been uninterrupted. Violence begets violence. The other function that I would focus on is the public access counselor. I actually sponsored the legislation creating the public access counselor in the Attorney General's office, but the reality is they are so overwhelmed with claims that they're not processing them fast enough. I would make sure that the public access counselor would be appropriately resourced. Finally, the other priority that I would focus on, I would call it the Trump defense priority, whether it's banding together with other attorney generals to fight the effort to undermine the Affordable Care Act, to make sure that we're protecting students who could fall victim to sexual assault on campuses, fighting against the rollback that Betsy DeVos has put on Title IX protections. I would make sure on all these fronts, making sure that we look after our immigrants who are contributing to our society. I would make sure that I, as Attorney General, would be the first line of defense against 45.